Hey guys, welcome to the Edge Martial Arts. My name is Master Thorn. I'm going to be bringing you through some advanced, these will be more point fighting related skills, kind of for some of our tournament competitors, and just something for you to play with more in like our sparring classes. So this is going to be geared around maybe our level 3, level 4 competitors, and that would be our advanced belts or black belts. And what I'm going to expect is that you have some of these concepts we're going on already down. I'm not going to break down some of them as far as like framing and those kind of things, consistency and movement. I'm going to assume you have all that. So if you're watching this video and it gets to be just kind of confusing, I apologize. It might intentionally be that way because I'm not going to cover some of the basics. We do have other videos out there that would cover some of these basics, these concepts. But if you're already familiar with these and you're looking for some ways to really kind of be able to pick on people, I'm going to break down a couple of things that I like to do. I had great success with these in competition, so I proved they work in the high-level black belt competition, and they definitely work in the classroom. So enjoy the video, and thank you for coming. We're going to get a bow in first. I always believe we should start in with respect, so we have attention position, hands on our side, have a good bow for respect. Okay, let's get warmed up. So we're just going to kind of bounce on those feet, shake those bodies out, get that neck loosened up. Oh, just kind of get loose, right? Get some jumping jacks in. Oh man, yeah, big motions, right? Forward and back. Oh, get the hips loosened up, right? Swing those legs. Oh, maybe the knees too if you're less flexible still. Twist that body. Sit down, get a quick leg stretch. Make sure when we're doing some of these higher kicks, you're not going to pull some so our toes are back. Reach down, shoot for those toes. We're going to go left and right a little bit. Hope you're having a great day. If not, hopefully this makes it a great day for you. Some of these concepts, like I said, if you're one of our level 2 fighters, not sure if this will work. We really need to have the basics down first. One thing I personally do whenever I got ready for competition, whenever I train in general, is a lot of my drills are basics, the things that we teach in our first 6 months of learning about sparring. And that's what I probably practice the most, because I think with that great foundation, it makes my advanced things work better. So I would never suggest skipping the basics to get you to the point we're working on today. Have those down where those are just natural motions. If you still have to think of the steps of throwing these side kicks, you still have to think of the steps of throwing these hook kicks, or if you still are struggling to do these things in general by themselves, then putting in with advanced concepts can be a little bit harder. So I'm hoping this is a super easy video for you to follow if we're teaching with the right group of people. And if it is hard, that's a good thing. If you struggle to do this video, you're doing it anyways, I'm proud of you. Maybe it's a good problem, because now you're realizing kind of where you have to get to. I think being humbled in martial arts is phenomenal. I started doing jiu-jitsu a very long time into my martial arts career. I think I started really training it, but at the same time I got my 5th degree black belt in our American karate system. And the reason I started a brand new style and started over learning was because it was humbling to know that such a different style that it was hard for me, and it brought me back to thinking back to when I was a white belt. So I started martial arts when I was a kid, and I don't remember a lot of the struggles of being a white belt, gold belt, green belt. If I started as a teenager, I probably would have recognized it more. But it was such a long time ago. I've been a black belt for almost my whole life now. So it's been real hard for me to go back. But then when I started new styles as an adult, it gave me appreciation for some of the small details, picking them up and trying to get them and stuff like that. So all for starting multiple skills, it doesn't matter what the skill is. The second skill is great. So I personally see the challenges as a way to view where I'm going to get to, because I know that martial arts, I had some challenges. I couldn't get through them, and eventually when I got there, got me better. So if this is a challenge, it's a good thing. It shows you that there's a lot of room left for you to grow, and you can kind of start to look forward to see where you're going to be someday. All right, so let's hop on up. Always get up in base, do it the right way. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to work on this thing called lazy D, right? Defensive D. So we're going to go lazy side kick, defensive side kick. The concept is that I have a person who likes to counter. Whenever you try and kick at a person who's good at countering, you get punched, right? Hardly ever kick, but you get punched a lot, because what they do is they distance and they sit and move on their feet, usually weight on the front foot, so they're ready to fire hands as fast as possible. You know they're going to counter blitz, but for some reason you can't help yourself, you kick at them. Big distance right outside the range of your foot, and then they come flying forward with hands, and they smack you right after you sit down, right? It's counter blitz. Simple concept. I see a lot of really good fighters fall for it because they just want to kick someone so bad. So my concept is, instead of trying to kick the person who's going to counter blitz me, why not invite them to counter blitz me so I can kick them during that time, right? Because if I face a person who wants to counter blitz me like this, like I'm ready to side kick them, they're not going to come flying forward. They're going to sit and wait. They want me to do something so that I'm off timing, off distancing, and a little bit slower to react so they can punch me. So if I just get ready to kick, they're not going to. The reason they're blitzing is because I'm kicking. They're countering my kick. So I have to give them something to counter. So we're going to work this a little bit in some steps, and then we'll put it together so you can do it. Now, if you're practicing home, that's great. That's what I want to see. This doesn't mean they'll line up the younger brother or sister and say, hey, when I sit down and run at me and kick them in the ribs, it's probably going to cause some problems in your house. Mom and dad, they're your kids. If you want to kick them, whatever, I guess you're in charge, right? So I'm going to take my leg, I'm going to lift it up here, and I'm going to slide. Slide and sit down. What people countering are looking for me to do is sit down like this. You notice where my hip is compared to this foot. When my hip's in front of this foot, that means that from here to here, I fell forward. Or there's no retreating as soon as I'm going. What I want to try to do is slide here and set down under control. Where this leg has no weight, I can pick it back up, set down, I can pause, right? So instead of my normal commitment where I slide and I kick, and I lead into a hands where my hips went down in front of my back foot, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to slide and keep my hips on top of my foot. So I slide as a person, and I sit down here really, really close. This position is horrible by itself. But we'll get to why we're going to use it. So the first step is to slide. Don't set your foot down. So slide, chamber, and be able to pause. Intentionally. So not gravity sets your foot down, you set your foot down. There's a huge difference in gravity forcing you to, right? If I slide, my hips in front, I have to. Gravity's going to pull me into the ground. I have to set my foot down. When I slide and I balance, I choose to put my foot down, putting it down on my terms, right? Which means if it's halfway down and they come charging me, pick it back up again. Okay? So the first drill is you're bouncing, right? Slide. Set down under control. Slide. Set down under control. Now the footwork you're seeing me add is the next step. When I set down under control, I step down and I step back. Foot pivoted, return. So you slide, sit down, step back, pivoted, return to your stance. Okay, so let's do that. So we're balancing, slide, sit down, sit back. One. Right? Now, if you do a lazy chamber, people are going to start to jam you. Right? Most guys who are counter punchers would also love the opportunity to jam you. Meaning if my partner kind of goes like this, kind of like has their leg low, I'm going to just step in, grab the leg, and throw a punch over the top. Because the leg's not scary. So the leg has to have something on it, right, to kind of keep the person back. So what I want to do is I don't want to kick the person. I want them to feel like I'm missing them accidentally. Like they're such good fighters at distancing that I can't kick them. I don't want them to think I'm purposely missing them, but I want them to feel like they're perfectly ranging me. They're like, oh yeah, I'm right outside his range, I'm ready to go, right? Does that make sense? Kind of tricking them, letting them kind of pump up their ego a little bit. So we're going to slide, kick, sit down, step back. So now, if I want to, right, I can kick the target. The goal is not to kick the target. The goal is to kick short. This way I have to disrupt the person's ability to counter. Another concept would be kick them off balance so they can't counter and then I can follow, or kick them off balance so they counter slower. I want this person to come full speed because the faster they come in, the harder the side kick hits them. Right? If I'm thinking of high level competition, I want to drop this person. So if I'm balancing, I slide, kick, and back. So if I were to slide, kick, and set down forward, this time it took me to get forward, the person is going to counter, they're going to jump all over me and climb on the back, and whatever they're going to do. When I slide and I kick, they're outside my range. I set down here, look at this is a long distance to cover. Now, if they're 6'3", you're 5'3", they're already punching you when you sit down. They're actually probably punch you as you side kick. But similar heights. We're talking about similar heights, right? If they're outside the reach of my foot, their arm's not going to touch me. So when I sit down, feet together, I control this distance, right? This distance stays the same. So they have to come across the ground to get to me, right? As my foot's going down, they're starting to come. So let's say they start coming across the ground, I immediately step this foot. Now, when I pick this foot back up to side kick, I just got a second distancing tool, right? If I were to kick here, set down, now their punch is, it's right here. So if I pick up again, they're gonna hit me as my foot's coming back up. So I want to, one, set down outside of range, so they have to run across the ground to get to me, right? Then immediately when I sit down, I take an additional step right where my foot is, because now, if they're coming across the ground, let's say I kick right, their hands follow me back, it's maybe like right here, right? Now when I step back, they don't have a lot of space, right? So it's just this much, but they've already ran. Now they have to make an additional second running step, or just, I don't know, just flail. So I most likely will have succeeded in getting away from the person, okay? And if your goal is only to piss the person off, you just want to get away, slide, kick, circle, right? Slide, kick, circle. You could just do this all day. They'll teach them not to counter because they can't get to you. And there's a lot of techniques we could do. I like to call this, lazy side, D-side. So I like the side kick people. I just love doing it. It's kind of fun to watch their face afterwards. So I slide in, side kick, set down, step back. Now I get my low chamber or my reverse chamber, body side kick. Most likely you'll be scoring that one, right? Open stance is going to be better. If they're countering your side kick, they're probably in a closed stance. Still going to work when they reach their backhand out, okay? Now, if we look at this guard, if I set down, most people I watch side kick do this, right? I don't know why, tell them not to, but their arms go out. So keeping this tight here, it's hard for some people to keep their elbow down. Side kick and getting back. Most people don't keep their elbow attached to their belt. So let's be realistic and assume you're not either, right? Reverse your guard. This is much easier. I just grab onto my leg, right? So I put my hand here. Now I've got the punch blocked. So when I slide and I go here and I step down, I've got this punch blocked. Nothing's gonna hit my body. This hand's here. They're either gonna have to punch at my head or their backhand, not a good choice, or they're gonna have to punch and follow, right? Body and then head, right? Keeping the arm up keeps the body open. So what we do is we purposely throw lazy side kicks, we purposely mix essentially, right? If you kind of go like this, like I said, they're gonna grab your foot, they're gonna step over the time, they're gonna start jamming you. So you still need to attack, but you need to purposely miss in trying to get the person to come forward. Some of you, this might be pump kicks, right? I might be pumping at the person and intentionally step down here and take my step, right? I might have bad blocking, so I reverse my guard. So what you're gonna do is you're purposely gonna practice just kicking at a target. Could be just a spot you're looking at on the wall. Could be distancing. Remember, we're not kicking it, don't kick the couch, or kick the wall or kick. Just practice kicking at a target. One, build a balance. Set down under control, step back, little chop side kick. So practice for one, kick, kick, or pump kicks, kick, kick. Trying to lock my leg, because I want the person outside the reach. If I do this and I sit down here, it's not enough time. I'll get punched on the way back. So I want to have them outside the reach of my foot. This is where the distance kicks in. So you already have to have these skills down. If you have bad distancing, it's not going to work. But this is one of the concepts I use to remove that annoying counter puncher, because counter punching is way easier than kicking, physically speaking, right? Timing-wise, you have both feet on the floor. It's much easier to bounce and then just counter on top of someone. So when that's a problem, all we're simply going to do is invite them to use a skill that annoys us and then take super advantage of it. So I just start going here, boom, right? And now I've got the space. Side kick to the body as they come forward. Let's say you're a hands fighter. Everyone should do the side kick, right? You have to have a side kick that can be at least believable or make the person nervous. So, but let's say you're not a defensive side kick. You can't get that foot up. You're not hitting that 135-degree angle when you make contact. You're not even getting 90, you're getting jammed a lot. 135 means when I look at my leg, I have a 135-degree angle, because you're not going to bend my leg as you run into this. 90 is at that point where maybe you start to jam me, right? Maybe I start to lock my leg out. Less than 90 is tag. It's touching the person, but they can run through it. Judges don't see it. Competitors don't care to kick them that way, right? Depending on what your skill level is. So what we want to have is that extension. Let's say we're not getting that. We're not going to get it. If the person's countering, most likely then, I'm going to purposely open up my body and go back fist. So I can go here, sit down, and then shoot that counter back fist. It's another option, right? Might even flip around to get into this one. I go one, then I can throw it. But same concept. Slide, feet close, step back, back fist. Here, feet slightly apart, shuffle back fist. Whichever one you want to do. But you can see the concept is that the person wants to counter. So I don't want to scare the person from countering. I don't want to stop them. I want to use it to my advantage. So every time they try it, I score. Now they're not going to do it because they get scored on, right? Not because they're going to figure out a different way to get around it. They're just not going to be able to use it anymore. When someone doesn't counter, and they're used to countering, they sit back, they don't really have a lot of options anymore. Okay? So this would be one concept. Lazy side kick, D side kick, right? Purposely miss, boom, right? Back fist or turn side kick. If you're still getting punched, your elbow's not down in your belt, right? This is a little bit easier blocking format for this drill because this will take care of the body punching. This will take care of that second hammer coming on top of your head a lot of times. So lazy side, D side, lazy side, counter back fist, some good options. Another technique I like to throw is I'll pressure up and throw my D side, right? But a lot of more advanced fitters will wall you. Walling is when they just tuck their arms in and just run at you. They take your kick and then they hit you with their hands, right? So walling is an issue because certain intermediate levels, really advanced levels, people start to wall. They're not afraid of your defensive side kick. They just take it on the arm and they hit you. Well, taking on the arm requires their arms to be in front of their face, in front of their ribs, in front of their belly, right? It means they're here. So there's big openings here. So if you sit in front of people, pressure up. When they come forward, you get that defensive side kick. They have no intention of scoring. Just kick them on the arm. If they want to wall it, kick them. I don't kick them like this, right? Because now they've hit me. I try and get that 135-degree angle side kick, meaning my legs at 135 or more, so that way when they do wall it, I end up bouncing off of the person or I stick them hard enough to keep them in their spot. So 135. So I pressure, right? Throw the side kick. Try and keep them at bay. I'm not trying to score it again. It's kind of a setup, right? I might start to frame my body to then throw the side kick. So I'm trying to get the person in. I might be going my reverse, which is getting my head open, throw the side kick. I'm doing things to get them to come in, knowing that this person is likely to wall me, right? If they're likely to wall me, then I don't say, man, that's a problem, I can't side kick this person. I say, thank you, you open another door for me, right? Again, I'm not worried about what they're doing, I'm thanking them. So this person sitting outside, they want to go forward, they know I'm going to side kick, they wall. They start to intentionally fake blitzes so that I side kick so they can wall. It was a problem. I say thank you, I hook kick them in the mouth. Right, so here's how we practice this. Right, if you have a wave master, that's phenomenal. It's one of the best ways to do this. I would stand my back next to like a wave master, right? Okay, or just in space if you're just in the room. Don't kick anyone. Reach your hand down and touch your toes. Swing your foot up behind you. It's a hook kick, right? It's not one of these hook kicks where you come across the target. It's like you're gonna do a cartwheel almost. Like your foot comes up, right? Like you're about to go into a cartwheel motion. So if I have my body here, this is my opponent, and my feet turn away from my opponent. If I reach down to touch my toe, and I let my leg swing up behind me, eventually your flexibility is going to kick in and your leg is going to bend. Right? Now, if your flexibility is here, you're not going to do a very good job. We want to get this up to the head. So if I bend this leg slightly, it'll help with the flexibility. If I keep it straight, it's a little bit harder. So I bend it a little bit. And what you can do now is put your arm, not when you're fighting, right now put your arm on your leg, kind of grab your wrist, and practice swinging your foot up. Right? And you're trying to bring it up as high as you can before you let your leg bend in. What'll happen is if this is my opponent and he's coming forward walling, the hook kick will come right up here in this angle, or it'll come back from behind, depending on your flexibility, and slap in the back of the head. Right? Because we might hit the person in the base, the back of the neck, the head, it's dangerous for contact. It's a very dangerous place to be hit. You're practicing a light contact sport. If this is a point fighting mentality, if there's full contact, just wail on the person, right? But this is something to think about. That heel hits in the back of the head, you can drop the person. I've knocked out people in competition with this, so it's not that hard to do. Just be careful where you're swinging this in class. You can hit the eye socket, you can hit the jaw with these. So again, if your intention is to have it be a playful sport, watch the control level. So if I just practice being in here, right, I shift back. Right now, brace like this so you can balance a little bit better, right? Swing your leg up. swing your leg up. And then at the top of it, bend it. And then your leg will kick in. So if we look at this as a situation, sparring someone, up here I'm purposely framing. My front hand's coming down, my back hand's coming up. My weight shifting. I'm trying to get the person to draw hands up to my head so I can kick the rib. The person sees this coming. This is always a chest master at advanced level, right? They say, hey, they're framing me. They're showing body position for a side kick. They're smart. They should choose walling. They intentionally wall because walling beats defense a side kick from this position. Gives them the backside for their hands, right? So I say, I'm going to show you this, hoping that you're smart enough or that you do this anyways. You're going to wall me. When I start to bring my leg up, what do you think it looks like, right? It looks like it's going to be a side kick. This only enforces the need to put their elbows down. So I lean back, my leg comes up, and then hook kicks up the backside of the head. So it's a drop back hook kick. Because I'm framing here, my head is the target. As I throw my hook kick, I simply just guard the back of my head with my hand. I keep this one down for the body, so if I'm facing you, right, we're bouncing, you come forward with your hands, boom, side kick to the belly, right? So to do a drill to help you see it, we're going to be bouncing on our feet, right? And I want you to think of coming forward with your hands on a count of 3, and then if it's a side kick from here, draw your arms back down and block. See if you can read it, okay? If it's the face shot, you block here. So on a count of 3, when I say 3, you'll go forward. So 1, 2, 3, you come forward. Reach your hands up, then trying to either block here or block here. So 1, 2, 3, body, right? So hopefully you saw that. You bring your arms down, you start going 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, right? Body. Does that make sense? So you're starting to come and you start to see this. So now what are you ready to do? You're ready to block down, right? 1, 2, 3, boom. Now you're already ahead of me. Your arms are already down because you've already seen this enough times. Looks like the side kick. So now you're just guarding that side. 1, 2, 3, boom. And then it comes up, and your hands drop, and it tags you in the face. So that's a nice drop back hook kick motion. When you get good at this, you can start to do this on high chamber kickers, right? This is a great option for high chamber kickers, meaning their chamber starts to be above your ribs, right? Coming into your bicep level, shoulder, head level kick, which is hard to get over the top of. It gives us an under. So if we're in an open stance, right? So my partner's belly would be facing this way, my belly's this way, okay? And I'm coming across the ground like this. It's gonna be much harder for the person to try to come over my kick, so it's gonna force me to sit and drop back, right? Usually it'll cause a distancing thing to go on. If the rule set allows, they should step in and sweep up my standing leg. Depends on what circuit you're on, right? If leg sweeps aren't allowed, the next favorite thing to do then is I will frame to draw a high chamber kicker, right? As they're kicking, I tuck underneath. So all I do is, depending on the speed of the kicker, if they're coming to me, I don't have to get to them, I'll let them come to me. If the person's kind of one of these flutter their foot, I don't really know what to do with it, but I'm a talented kicker kind of person, then I skip to them, right? Depends on the pace at which they're coming across. Kind of like if I float a baseball to you, you could probably take a step up to it and hit it, right? Does that make sense? But if you've got a professional pitcher coming, you have to sit and wait for it. Does that make sense? So like if I was pitching it slow, you could actually maybe move forward to it. Same thing with pump kicker. If they're slow, you can come to them. If they're coming fast, you probably want to just hold your ground. So the mentality is I frame high. I want them to kick high, get their chamber high. And when they're here, tuck underneath, right? If I'm coming up to them, or I'll get closer, pretend they're coming to me, I just lean back. So either coming up to them, or just leaning back. So we're bouncing, tuck, hook kick. Because when their leg is up in this position, your leg will come underneath to them. You go right around their leg. So this drop back hook kick can be used defensively as a setup for someone who's walling, or even against a person who starts coming across the ground with pump kicks. So if the person's pump kicking, I'm bouncing back, and then I put it underneath, right? Or the person's kind of fluttering, step, come underneath and kick. I'll use this hook kick to the body on high chamber kickers if I'm looking to go over the top. Like if I have a high chamber kick, right, I'm going across the ground kicking at the face. This person's not going to jump my foot. So they can't jump over my foot, you know, it's kind of annoying, you can't use your hands. When I have that same problem happen to me, I kind of say, man, I really want them to kick lower. So what I'll do is I'll go here, I'll chamber so they keep kicking high, and I'll throw my heel to their body. Sometimes I hit it. As far as competition goes, it's really hard for the judges to see in a point fighting atmosphere. So I really wouldn't suggest it as a way to look for points as much as it is to cause a reaction, right? If the judge sees it, it's a scoring kick. But that's the biggest thing. The point finding is if the judge sees it. So when the person comes across the ground, remember their knees here, come underneath, hit them in the belly. If you were lifting your leg and someone kept hitting you in the belly, what would you do with your leg? Would you keep kicking high? Or do you start kicking lower? Like if I start kicking lower, they can't come underneath my leg, right? Or I can get their hip and I can shove them off balance. So I, as a competitor, when I have a high chamber kicker, will sometimes kick to the belly so they don't give up my back as much. It's a little bit faster than to the head. What I've experienced in competition is almost always when I start throwing body hook kicks and then I run. I don't kick like this and then stand there and take a punch in the head, right? I kick and then start, circling out. Is when I do that, the next time they come across the ground, they throw their kick low. So now, high chamber kicker, my brain, I say, okay, I can either score, maybe they have really tight hands, I know I'm not going to get around them, so I purposely kick in the body. Arms doesn't really matter, I don't really need the point. So here, body, right? I move, I'm bouncing, chamber again. Now they're thinking slide, stop my ribs. Maybe they're thinking D-side drill we did, right? Or maybe they're just thinking stop my ribs, roll to my head, stop my ribs, follow. Maybe they're just mad at me, so they want to stomp on me, right? So now the next time they go, I just simply push their foot down, because if it's out here, think of the leverage, right? I have leverage on them. I just push down on their ankle, and then I can swing a ridge hand over the top at them. So let's practice that drill a couple times. So the mentality is that the high chamber kicker, you're not looking at the head, you're sending a bridge hand. So you're bouncing up to the body, and I step out, create space, because most likely this person could follow, right? Because if I kick to the body and sit down, they could now follow and hit, right? So we're bouncing, hit, sit down, back 5 9 feet, always take a slight angle, never run straight back, because the person's blitzing, they're going to go in that straight line. So bouncing, right? One here and out, whichever way I want to go, bouncing body, circle out. So I'm kicking them, sitting out feet together, like we previously in the beginning, circle out, run away. What this does, starts to make the person want to kick low. Now instead of framing high, I give it to them. I give them the low. They don't want to go high anyways. So I give them the low, I frame low. Next time they come in, I check their foot to the side, or push down, depending on which check you have, depending on their chamber, right? Check, reach my hand over the top, put my head behind them. So this is their body going behind, so nothing can hit me. Then I throw the ridge hand wherever, maybe the chest if it's a friend, mouth if it's a person I'm fighting in the tournament. So I'm bouncing, and the person's got the high chamber kick. One, circle out, right? Framing high again. One, circle out. Start to frame low. Check. Boom. Throw the ridge hand. So what we're doing in these situations, we're taking what the person wants and we're utilizing it for us. We're saying, great, you're smart, you're doing the right thing. We're just taking advantage of it, right? Like in rock, paper, scissors, if I told you in advance, I'm gonna put out rock. Ready? 1, 2, 3. What would you do? Right? You already know. You know what I'm going to throw. You put the right answer out. That's what we're doing. We're not trying to stop them from throwing rock every time. They get mad and say, stop putting rock out. You say, fine, I'll just keep putting it on paper. Right? Does that make sense? And then our sparring strategy says, wow, we beat him with paper a couple times. I just saw the person mentally kind of go, right? What are they going to do? They're going to go scissors, put out rock and hammer them. So it's a strategy where we know what they're doing. We have the answer. Or we know what their answer to our answer is. So it starts to become, that's why we call it advanced or level 3, level 4 fighting. Right? So let's review the things we went through so far. We have slide in. So I go here, slide in, right, sit down, create space. Right? Or slide in, this, create space. So that we can go here, side kick, I might go here, back kick. Whichever one it is I feel like I can score. Sometimes people counter, they're like a bullet, they come across the ground, like this, and point sparring, and it's hard to get underneath them because they're in a straight line, so let's counter back, this works, okay? When they're upright, side kick them. We have drop back hook kick, and this could be done in a lot of different ways, right? I'm throwing these side kicks all day, right? I'm going here, coming back here. Maybe they're countering me on the first drill with a wall. I go here, I step back, they come in walling, bang. Now my hook kick is part of my first drill. Maybe now they're sick of sitting back. They don't want to counter anymore. They're a high chamber talented kicker. They start to do the high chamber kick, right? Boom! We go underneath, tag the head. Stop blocking their head, go to the body. Okay? Person's frustrated, can't sit back and counter, can't kick in my head. I move my arms up. They're searching for anything that can give them an opportunity to win or score now. So now that I've got this opportunity in their brain, right here, they're gonna take it. I've done this tons of times, I have tons of videos of it, right? Person comes in, check it down, go over the top of the ridge hand. So what we've done is we've kind of set this person up. We keep saying, here, do this, bang, we take it from you. Do this, bang, we take it from you. These concepts aren't that hard to really grasp. They just take a little bit of time to get used to applying. The biggest thing is with any of these concepts, don't have one. Lazy D, defensive sidekick, right? That one's great, but if it's the only thing you have and they adjust, they start walling instead of countering, now they're going to beat you. Like if I'm sitting back and I know you're going to throw the fake, I start coming in and I wall. Now I just beat that defensive sidekick drill you were doing. By adding in the hook kick, I can't start to wall instead of counter because I get hook kicked. Right? Does that make sense? Now I have to do something different. If I just sit back, you start attacking, maybe I go on defense, but that's when we start to do our other kind of fake stuff we've done in other classes. So this is really simple, it just stacks. Right now we start to pressure the person, we frame, so hey look, I'm right here, pow, kick up. You know, we can start to take them apart one step at a time. Just use a little bit different strategy, a little bit different mentality. So I hope this helped. Again, do not beat up little brothers and sisters. They're not good training partners at home, unless mom and dad obviously tell you to, in which case, yay. Mom and dad, they're your kids, do what you want to them. And then be careful, don't break anything in the house when you do these videos. If any of these concepts are kind of hard, review other videos we've done on the individual concept of framing or pressuring and those kind of things to kind of get it, or walling, whatever it is you didn't understand from the video. Get your butt to class as soon as you can. Sometimes you can't make it to class, that's why we have the online training, but as soon as classes are available, try to get down. My name is Mr. Thorn with Edge Martial Arts. Happy to do class, give me a good bow so we can finish this thing the right way with respect. Get in position, a good bow, and hopefully we see you again soon. Thanks.